Note that one of our major objectives is to orientate all of our resources in the same direction, making them as easy on the eyes as possible from the perspective of the player of the guitar, who is of course located behind the guitar. Therefore, for example, our guitar is going to look like we're playing left-handed, but no, we just flipped the guitar around so it mirrors what you're doing on your side. We've also organized it so it's underneath our worksheet so we can line up what's happening on the worksheet to the guitar. The worksheet similarly organized, where this E is representing the low or heavy string, the one closest to the ceiling, top to bottom, left to right, orientated as though you took your guitar from behind the guitar and just basically imprinted the strings on the screen. Now we're going to go through a fairly sloppy just practice session here and just analyze what we're doing with our fretboard, trying to line that up so that we can get an idea of what's going through the head as we're thinking about moving around the fretboard with just a sloppy jam session. We're mainly going to be looking at the starting of the jam session in the key of A minor, which we've mapped out here. Then we'll go in, I believe I go into a little bit of D Dorian, which will have the same notes, and then go into D minor and D Dorian, and so that has one note difference than the D Dorian here. And then I think we go into G minor if we get to that point, and then I go back to A minor, I think at the end or something like that. We might not get through the whole thing, but that's going to be basically the general idea. Now note, you can take this similar idea to kind of look at other people as they play the guitar. It might be easier if you can somehow edit what they're doing and flip the screen around, just mirror the screen so it looks like they're left-handed, line up the fretboard to say your worksheet over here, and it might be a little bit easier to try to figure out what it is they're doing instead of trying to flip around in your mind as you're looking at the face of their guitar, which is not going to be mirrored in the same direction. I find it much easier to try to analyze what's happening on the fretboard if we orientate the worksheet and the fretboard this way. Not everybody might not feel the same way, but I think for most people that haven't been looking at the guitar like upside down for a long period of time might find this an easier way to look at it. That's just my perspective. Maybe I'm a little strange. I am a little strange, but I think that's somewhat normal. So let's go ahead and see what we have here. Okay, so the general thing I'm looking at here, so if I just try to say, okay, what is happening, or what am I trying to do at least? So we're starting off with this standard, with this thing that I like to do, this little shuffle pattern here, right? So I'm going from here to here just as my normal startup warm-up. That's going to be in, so if I think about that, it's like, okay, I'm kind of shuffling back and forth between the A minor chord, because we've got the 1, 3, 5 of A minor. And if I have the open A, when I take my finger off of that, so my pointer finger is here, I'm reaching up here with my middle finger and then letting go to reveal the A. And so those three notes then make up the A minor. And then I'm just thinking I'll also alternate and pick up this G as part of the pattern. So the G is going to be the 7th that we have here. And then let me unhide so I can see, unhide so I can see through the 13th. So then that's going to give me the 7th. And then I'm thinking if I slide up, so if I put my finger here and then I slide up to the D, so now I'm just going to put my middle finger here and slide it up to the D. It gives me a nice little slide, and then go back to the open A. And then possibly slide up to the E, and then go back to the A. I can also mirror that, putting my middle finger up on the G and sliding to this A. Notice that these two A's are actually the same. They're supposed to be the same, but they sound different because, of course, they're located on different areas of the guitar, and you can put some vibrato on this one. Like, you can move your finger around on this one, right? And then at the end, I'm going to go bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. So I'm going to go dun, 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 and then dun, 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 and slide my finger backwards. So that's just what I'm trying to play with, and I'm trying to find some rhythm that will make that sound good, right? I'm going to slide up here, and then maybe slide up from here to here, and then go slide all the way up to the G, then back to the E, back to the D, back to the C. So I'm just trying to, and I'm not really thinking about like what chord I'm playing when I'm doing that. I'm just thinking all those notes are in the key. I'm basically sliding up and down the scale, and I'm just looking for the notes that fit in that shape more or less, and then trying to find a rhythm that'll basically work with that. So now I slid all the way up. I believe that's the all the way up here. Now I'm got it to this one, and then back to the E, and now so then I try to do a little bit of a hammer on the way back down, right? So I went from then I went back down here, and then I tried to hammer on here before I go back to basically home base, revealing the A and the E, which is basically an A minor type. So now I'm going all the way up to the E next. There's the E, there's the E, the D. So that went all the way up to the E. And now I'm in this area. I reached up to here. So now I'm just kind of noodling around in this area, back to this shape, back to the home base. So now I got my finger here, and I can reach up to that G, that F. So I'm not going to analyze this too much because I'm kind of just noodling around in this position. I'm going to wait till I get to the next major theme here, possibly. So I ended that off by basically going, so I'm I noodled up into, this is what I would call position one, might be the most familiar position to many people, and I was kind of noodling around here, and then I've been ending off a lot of times by going behind this A, where I have this basic box shape. And so if I have that basic box shape, I can roll into that A right there by having an open E, and then put my pointer finger down here and my ring finger here. So I roll into the A, or I can have an open A here, roll into that D. So I'd roll into the D and then open the C back up and then reach up here, which is a nice ending spot because then I have this A and this C, which is basically the flavor of an A minor chord because you have the 1 and the 3rd. And then you could go down here and reach the 5th if you so choose, but that's not, you don't have to, right? You can just play those two and that would give you the flavor. So now I'm kind of playing around in the same area. So now I'm in this area. So now I'm going back to here where the home base is here in this shape or here. So now I'm up here, messing around with this A, going from here. So now I'm just kind of trying to roll in to like right there. I was noodling around with this idea of I was practicing trying to get a rhythm down where I could roll in from the E to the A to the B, and then back to the A. And if I can keep on doing that, this is the blue note in a minor, so I can trying to roll in, go E, A, B, and then back to the A, and then play these two, you know, at the same time, which gives me a tensiony feel because that's the blues note, and then back to the fifth right here, for example, and try to get some rhythm. If you get a good rhythm on that, that should sound kind of cool, right? And then I'm gonna end on the A. I'm not always getting a good rhythm, and it's not always sounding cool, but that's kind of like the idea. See, now I'm going from here. This is the A shape, right? Which would be an A minor shape, bar shape like this. But I'm really kind of playing up top there, and I'm shuffling between that flat 5 and the normal 5, right? So now I'm up in this area. In this area, then if you play here, here, and here, that's kind of like that's another an A shape chord that you can play up in that area on the top of the guitar. You also have, well, let's keep it at that. So now I'm back home down here. So now I ended it off on this A right there. So now I think I'm switching things up. Yeah, so now I'm going to like a D. So we're in like a D now. So now I could think about myself in D Dorian, which I think I'm gonna do for a while, but then there's only one difference between a Dorian, which is a minor mode, and the D minor, and so I could adjust that one basically pivot point on the D and be switching between a Dorian and in essence a D minor. And the note that would be different, by the way, if I was in this D, if I was in the Dorian here, I won't switch down to, well, maybe I should just switch down to the Dorian. Where is the Dorian? Dorian, let's go to here. So now I made the D the one, same shape if I'm in Dorian. The one that's different is right here, is the major 6. So it has a major 6. And so I would need to flat that. So right, in order to move from this shape, which would be a Dorian shape, it's all the same notes as the A minor or the C major. And then if I wanted to switch from the Dorian mode to the D minor, I just have to take that B and put it back here, right? If I take that B and put it back there, you can redefine all of the shapes, right? And this B right here, all of the Bs would be flatted. And you can kind of redefine that shape according to whatever your numbering system on the shapes, or you might just see it the same way, same notes, but now I'm just going to locate that note and flat it, however you want to look at it. But I think we're going to noodle around mainly in the Dorian at first. And then what I'm doing for the Dorian, oftentimes I start off by saying, I have this open D right here. So there's a cool little, if I just go like this note, the A, to the G, to the F, and then I open up to the D. That sounds kind of cool. And then I have that same shuffle pattern I had with the A up top, in that I've got this A, and then I can shuffle up to the F, which is the third, and then go back to the D. So same shuffle pattern, my pointer finger here. I'm reaching up with my middle finger to the F, letting go, going back to the D. And between those 3 notes, I get that minor chord. And so then I think it sounds cool if I go from A, I just, point on A to G to F, and then open D, right? And then if I want to go to the D minor chord, it's going to be down here. That's the D minor shape, pointer finger, middle finger, and ring finger here. So that's going to be the general shuffle pattern. And as I go through that little pattern, let's put this one. So I'm going here and then back here. As I go through this pattern, boom, boom. Let's put this one here, and maybe I'll move around with the red one. That makes more sense. So maybe if I go back here, notice that this right here is, if I think about it as a D minor, this would be the related blue note, because it would be that flat 5th. So even when I'm playing in like D Dorian, I'm still like, I kind of want to throw in that flat fifth right there because that's kind of like the bluesy sound if it was like a D minor, and I think it still kind of works. And then when you go to the minor, then that would be clearly something that could be thrown in. So that's the general idea. So when I'm on this D, notice what I have here. I have here, and then I can. This is an A minor, D minor chord, right? A minor shape. So there's the A minor shape, and so and if you think about this position, if it was an A minor, right? I mean, if it was D minor, it would be the same as though we took this shape and just moved it down one, right? So I have when I was up here on the A minor, I have the A, the C out here, and then this is the fifth of that A. Here I've got the third out here. Same thing. I just shift it down. D, the third of the D is here, and then you have the fifth right here. So I can do that same kind of pattern when I'm leaning forward, and when I'm leaning backwards, similarly, I have the same kind of thing, right? So when I was on A, and I wanted to go behind the A, then I can kind of noodle back here and then go to that A and that C was the 1 and the 3. Now if I'm here, I can go underneath the D, which is even nicer in some ways because now I have the A above it, right? The A above it is the fifth. So now I've got a nice chord just on these top 3 strings. I can still noodle around here and end right there. But when I end, I can have this shape, pointer finger here, and then my other 2 fingers leaning up here, pinky and the ring finger. And that's a nice shape to end on, which is a D minor chord. And then what's cool there on that shape, on the minor, on the D minor, is that I can pick this finger up and reveal that D. And that means I have a really solid D sound. These are supposed to be the same note, but when you play them both at the same time, you're going to get a heavy feel, right? So I can end it right here with that D and then let go of this, revealing this D, which gives it a more heavy sound, although we're missing the third, but you give it that. But if I switch back and forth, right, you give it that little rhythm. So this, I was trying to play with this. I've been messing with this shape up here. It's kind of sloppy, I know. I apologize. But like if I'm up in this area, then I can reach up to here and that's kind of a cool shape because then I can go from here and if I'm here, I have this open D right there and I could grab that A, which is the fifth, and then I have the F. But so this D and this F gives me kind of like the flavor right there of and then I have the open Ds, and then I could move this up, shifting this up here. So now I have a mirroring shape between the E and the G, which basically would be like an E minor from the perspective of this E, right? Because that G would still be the minor third related to the E, and then I could go up here, but then I'd have to shift this one out, which would take me to, in essence, an A minor kind of shape. I still have the D ringing out over here, but I'm really thinking A and the third of it. If I was thinking about this as the root now, the F would be the third of it, and then back here. And then if I go back the other way, I can go from here back to here. And so now I've got this shape. So I'm kind of just moving between the shape. I'm just sandwiching the open D and moving up and back between that shape and just kind of playing with that. So when I'm down here on this D, I have my third up here again, but the fifth isn't right here. It's going to be back here. It's going to be up one because the fault line kind of shifted up. So that's the. So I'm back to that shape. So I'm just moving from here up to here. So I'm just going bump, 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 bump. I'm just shifting this up here. Dun, 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 dun. While keeping that D open. So I could be behind this D right there. And that shape closes out right here because that's the A minor shape right there. So oftentimes it sounds good to reach up to this G for some reason and then close it out on this D. And then I could hit that A, or I can leave the open D and this A open, which is kind of cool. So now I'm back to this thing. So I'm like dun 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 dun. So I think I'm playing more in A and D minor rather than Dorian right now. But I'm not totally sure. I'm still kind of messing around. If you're up on this shape, this D out here, this is going to be boom, boom, boom. So you have, there's your shape, which would be a bar chord if you go all the way down. If I played the D, by the way, if I played the D minor, this would be position 1, right? Because this B would shift back and this would shift back, which means you'd have position 1 in essence right here, or you might call it a G-shaped F major, which has a related D minor to it, right? That would be the related minor. So I'm here. So now I'm going behind it, and now I'm on this shape. So now I reached up to here, this is I'm pivoting around this D. Now I'm back to here, going behind this D, ending kind of on this shape. Now I'm just going back and forth from here to the D, ending on the D. So now I'm hitting this and opening up that D. So if I go under this D, I have this shape right here, which this note is once again the note that is in D minor. So I can play this same shape below it, and this would be a G minor, basically, shape, right? So now I'm closing out up here on this shape, which is once again a D shape. So now I'm behind this one again. And now I'm leaning forward on this shape, which is here to here. That closed out on this shape. So now I'm up here, I'm going to lead to that D. So now I ended on this D. So now I'm just behind here, just noodling around to this D, reaching up to that A, and then I lean forward on the D. That's your basic shape going forward. So now I'm reaching up to this B or A sharp instead of that B, because that's the note that would be in D minor as opposed to D Dorian. So this would be what I would call position number 4 instead of position number 1. So now I'm back to this. Da, 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 da. Going here, reaching up to there. And then ending it on this D, which is like that. So now I emphasize here to this note, which is the blues note, back to here. So da 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 da. do, 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 do. And then I reach back up. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Speed it up a little. Let's get to something new here. How do I speed it up? Look, he's jamming. No, it's on fast speed. So now I'm in this little shape up here, kind of focused up here. So I'm doing the same thing. Da, 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 da. So I ending it here, do, 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 to that D. So now I'm ending it, now I'm here, I believe. And then da, 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 da. And now I ended it there. That time the end of that phrase was here. End of that phrase was here. Now I'm just going da 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 da. And you could hit this one as you do that dun dun dun, even though this one's out because it rolls forward. That's a half step going into it, so that's fair game. Now I'm just giving a little bit. I'm hitting more strings. And I'm muting a little bit, da-da-da-da, same thing, da-da-da-da, just strumming a few more strings, here, 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 and then the open D. So I'm just messing around with the same thing. So now I'm up here, here to here to that D, playing this open D and the G. Gonna try to wait till we get to the next bit where I switch things up more. So now I'm going from here to here. And I'm going here to here again. Shifting that up to here, and then shifting that back to here. And I ended that right there on that D. So now, okay, so now I'm gonna do the same kind of thing, but this time I'm gonna go down to, oh, that's not my, I'm gonna go down to the G. So now I'm thinking of myself in G, in a G minor. Now this, I don't have, G minor isn't basically the equivalent to the Dorian here. It's going to be a different, we're looking at something different. Let's go to the A minor, just since I'm looking at the related modes. So this was what we were doing. Well, now let's keep it on the D minor. That might help to see it. So what was I on? Our D Dorian. So this is D Dorian. So, but now what I'm thinking is what I was doing on the D Dorian is switching it to D minor by shifting that note back, the B. Now I'm thinking, well, now I got the G. What if I did G minor? Because then I can do kind of the same thing. So this is not the shape for G minor, but I'm just trying to think of myself of doing the same thing as I was with the D. And if I mirror that, then that should be a similar thing. So I'm going da, 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 and then there's the open G right here. So we have, okay, I fixed my worksheet here. So now I'm in G minor now. So now I'm going to say this is position number 1 on fret 2, or you might say fret 3 this would be the pentatonic, boom, boom, here to here, and then we have the other notes added. So now I'm just like, okay, now I have this open G, so I could do the same thing. I can go duh, 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 right? And then I have this open G. Now I can't really put my same finger like I was doing on the A up here, where I was noodling back and forth with the open A, because the fault line is right here. So it's a little wonky when I go down here now, because it's not exactly the same shape below this fault line, but I still should be able to go boom, 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 right? And then open, and have the open G out here. So, and then on the G, we have the added note, which is going to be the flavor note. The blues note will be this C sharp that we can add in there. So that's the general idea. So same kind of pattern, but we have this open G we're kind of going around. So I can end it off times. Let's try to slow it down now. Back to normal speed, if you could. Okay. So this is like the ending shape oftentimes, which is just once again like the normal E minor bar shape, but I like to often end it with just the middle bit of the shape, which is like right there. So duh, duh, duh. And then here's the root is right there. So you've got the 1, 3, 5. So I'm just kind of noodling around in this shape in the same way I would if it was an A minor. And then I can go out here and reach out this way to the shape, boom, boom, boom. So, okay, so now I'm going to A minor again. So we're back to A minor. That was a short stint over there. So now I'm just kind of playing with the strumming. So like, here's the A minor, and what I like to do is just hammer on, open up these two fingers, hammer on, and then reach up to the C shape, which is going to be like that, right? And then just experiment with picking my fingers up. So if I pick this finger up as I play this shape, the A minor shape, that's going to give me my 7, right? And if I pick, and then if I can do the same thing if I go to the C, I can pick up my finger and give me that G, you know, and I have a little bit of a mirroring pattern to it. So I'm just doing that with a pattern is all I'm kind of thinking to do it. So see, you hear the rhythm. I'm trying to keep that rhythm in my mind, and now I'm just trying to play the same rhythm with variations on this G, hammering on, to this A minor, hammering on to these two, letting open strings ring out because I'm cool to do that on this shape, back to the A minor shape. Dun 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 dun. So then I went to the F shape like that, which could shift up to the G. That whole shape shifts. Is that right? I messed it up. Hold on a sec. The F shape looks like that. Right, and then we can shift that up to the G right there. There it goes. So then I roll that up and end it at the A there, back to my standard pattern from this A to the C, back to this shape, position number 1. If I'm leaning forward in this position, I have the E there, and I can pick up that G, which is the 7th, if I end on this E over here, that's an E minor shape. Now I've added, I often do that, I go from the E minor to the major, which means I'm gonna shift this note up, it's out of key, and then I usually pull in this C over here, this shape right here. This is out of key, but it leads into that A. So that's gonna give me my leading tone going into the A. So I do that fairly often, shaped like that. So now I'm on this shape. So I'm leading into this shape a lot, going from here to here. And then I can kind of fudge this shape around, sliding it this way. Oftentimes I'll slide it back and then back in, this whole shape, which is all a half step away. That's why it'll sound wonky, but still hopefully not, still cool, or at least fits. So here to the C with just a pattern, and then I throw in an F. So now I'm on this A leaning forward. Here's my third. There's my blues note, and there's my fifth. If I lean up to this part of the shape, then I'm up here, I can always reach down to this A underneath. And when I'm up here on this shape, there's the A, so I'm gonna end off with this shape, which is an A minor shape. So now I'm just playing back down my shape on this string. I'm just working my way backwards. Trying to make it sound meaningful and deep, you know? And then now I'm here. I'm back to my little rhythm thing. Hammer off, on with these two fingers. Sometimes I do it with these two. I hammer from this C onto the A and the D, and then I let go of this D, revealing the C. So I can kind of hammer on there, reveal the C, and then go up to this one, which is the full chord. So now I'm back to the standard. Let's see if I could speed it up. Let's see if I do anything interesting, worth comment, anything worthy of comment. So now I'm reaching. So now I'm just trying to put a little bit more feeling into it. So I kind of did a little lead in on that from here to here. So I was throwing in a G dominant 7. So sometimes I experiment with these. I'm just kind of thinking I'm gonna reach up with my pointer. So if like this is my pivot note, I'm gonna reach up with my pointer above the string, and then I'm gonna find whatever fits on this string. And oftentimes you're gonna get a more tensiony feel. I'm not really thinking of what I'm gonna do other than gonna get a more tensiony feel if you look at that shape. So if you're up here, I'm gonna look for the shape of reaching above to here, and then putting my finger in the middle one here, right? And so those shapes are usually gonna be, you know, a little bit more tensiony, and I'm just gonna. And you don't have to think about like what you're playing too much. You're just gonna, I'm gonna reach up here with my, to the next one in the shape. So if I was down here, you might reach up here with your pointer finger instead of your ring finger, and then see what else you can reach that's in the middle, which is gonna be that B. That's a more of a stretchy one, right? If I was here, I can try to reach up here and end it on that A. So it's gonna sound kind of like it's gonna give you the A feel, but it's not gonna give you, but it's really, you know, here's the third over here. It doesn't have the third in it and whatnot. So you can define these. We can go in and define these chords. Like if I did it here, I would go to that C right there and then reach for the one in the middle, right? And so and then if I was on like, this E, I'd reach up to that G and then reach for the 1 in the middle. So now I'm on this A, and I'm just kind of thinking I'm gonna give it some, I'm going from here, 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 which is out of the key, but it's still a half step as I go half step, half step, half step, half step, half step to the blues note, and then possibly ending it here. And now I ended it here on this A. So now I'm playing this E in the open A, and then I'm just noodling around with, strumming. Notice I'm ending that off with a little tension as from this C all the way to this A, which is like a sixth, or is like a major sixth away. Gives it a little bit of tension. I think that is a major sixth. So now I'm doing the same thing, just opening up that A and then reaching up here and then reaching up here. Now I'm down here. And I reached to here to give that tensiony feel. Here, here, here. If you play that, I can end that off then here. I can end that off bringing it down here to my A. So now I'm playing around this shape. So now it ended that off. That tensiony feel once again is here. I did a little slide on the A. Now I'm just going from A, that's E minor, to an F, up to a G shape. So I'm basically just going A with some hard strumming to like the standard C, and then to an F. I'm pivoting around this pointer finger, and that F I can shift forward nice and comfortably to the G, same fingering, and then noodle back down to here, back to the A minor. I can throw in a D if I want to, going here and here, and maneuver that shape up to the D or to the E minor, like that. And then once I'm here, oftentimes I'll bar these off and then grab that and then back to my normal shape. Boom, boom, boom. Here, ending off. When I walk down this string, I've been walking down to this A, and then I go from here. I often have been going from here to here to here. That gives me a little bit of tension. And notice that is just these same fingers, pointer, middle, ring, could then go to here to here. Pointer, middle, ring, which is another way to play the A minor. So if I could switch easily from this tension soundy thing to this, which is kind of fun to do. So that right there was my walk up on the D minor. So it's a D minor, which goes nicely. I like doing this. I go from the D, and then I go to the E minor, and then I go to this, which is an F major. Looks like a D-shaped F major, to a D-shaped G major, to a G, a C-shaped G, and then end it over here with another A-shaped G, which sounds really like a kind of cool sound on that when you hit that one. to end it. And then I go back to my A minor. Like right here, maybe. After that resolution. That's fun. There it is. There it was. And now I ended it back here. Right now I'm back in my normal A minor. All right, I'm gonna stop it there.